What is up? We have our fifth installment here of MNCAA season recaps. We've got half the Mankato crew here. Alex Micheletti, of course, no way that he was going to be able to miss this. Alex, appreciate you jumping on.
Of course. Yeah. It's hopefully, hopefully this summer goes fast and we get college hockey again. It was an exciting past season and yeah, looking forward to another one here shortly.
And then Marissa has this thing called a job. I don't know what she thinks she's doing with one of those, but you know what? I'm sure we'll get her back in sometime this summer to vent away on many of the topics we'll be addressing here. But let's just lead in simple here, Alex. Give me like one or two sentences tops. What was this season for Mankato?
Frustrating, but I think growth too. In a transition year, you're always going to have that. You hope you don't, but it ends up happening. And with a new coach, you have to get whole new systems and just a whole new culture. And so you saw it at points in the season. Inconsistency would be another great word for this Maverick team. But I like what Strand, his coaching style and the players that he's recruiting. It seems like he has a specific set of players that he wants, and it seems like a little bit more compared to the last coaching staff, a little bit younger, a little bit faster. So we'll see it as the classes start to come in. So that's what I'm really looking forward to too. And they seem to be going to different areas for recruiting than really interesting to me too.
Yeah, and you snagged a couple extra sentences there, but we'll
Oh,
allow it.
sorry.
No,
Yeah.
you're good. So talk to me then about what you saw this year. Again, the big thing this year is you lost some key players due to your coach departing and going to a shittier place, being Wisconsin. Like obviously, there's going to be some speed bumps throughout the year. There's going to be inconsistencies. You got somewhat of a new cast. You've definitely got a new scheme and approach, new identity. What were the positives that you took from the new Strand approach?
Yeah, I just throughout the year, they never gave up, even if they they looked like it was just could be a dumpster fire. They had a really tough start. Their non-conference was just absolutely brutal. You have to play North Dakota, St. Cloud, UMass, and so they really fought in the non-conference slate. I thought, oh no, here we go. But they really hung in there. They swept St. Cloud, so that was really cool to see. And just they had young guys step up at times, which was great to see. And they had Evan Murr, who looked phenomenal back there, and a guy like um, Brett Moravec, Adam Isley. I mean, some of these guys, they at certain points, like I mentioned, inconsistency, but you could see the the offensive capabilities are there. And so I'm excited for a couple of those guys, those three, in coming in the fall. We'll see if they can carry off how they did at the end of the this past season.
Sure. Well, let's come in objectively too then. Let's say you're cheering for any of the other 6 Minnesota-based teams. What would your criticisms be of more so the coaching side of things in year one?
The goaltending, just picking what goalie to use. Alex Tracy at times looked great, and then Rancier. Just it didn't seem the flow of rotation for the goaltending was a little maddening. I thought, but we'll see. Rancier left, so Alex Tracy. This is pretty much his net, unless Eli Pulver, the recruit coming in, looks good early. It looks like it's Alex Tracy's for this year. So I just thought, choosing the goaltending was kind of maddening at points.
Talk to me about how Mankato ends up not being part of the CCHA championship game.
Yeah, that's I think it's that goaltending again. We don't know what the full roster is yet. There's still a couple more roster spots still to be decided. So we'll see what happens there. I think they were still lacking a little bit firepower up front. So yeah, they're gonna have to get find a little bit more scoring and then more consistency in the nets. Alex Tracy looked brilliant. And then he had really rough stretches too. So just if they can get even 90 save percentage, that would be great. And they can do it in this conference. If they can just get a little bit more consistent goaltending, they can be right at the top.
Yeah, and what this conference in particular seems to be getting ravaged by the transfer portal. General thoughts on the transfer portal in and of itself.
Yeah, it's and it's only going to get crazier too, because it looks like unlimited scholarships are on their way. So that's going to make the Big Tens, the NCHCs even more powerful. But it seems like the CCHA and Atlantic is a farm system. It's like minor league baseball, and they can just pick the best players. You look at one of our other teams in the state, Bemidji. They lost Eric Polkamp, their best player, to Denver. The rich get richer. National champs get one of the best defensemen in the country. So it's just it's really frustrating. But another thing too that could be coming soon too is major junior players being able to play in college hockey. So that might widen the the recruiting field. So that might help the CCHA's Atlantic Hockeys. But it seems like the transfer portal just continues to get crazier and crazier. There's probably a lot of tampering going on that behind the scenes.
Never.
And especially with with agents and advisors, and NHL teams dictating where they want their prospects to go. That's going to continue to happen. You can't tell me that Carl was not talking to Polkamp at World Junior. So it's a lot of that's happening. What's going to be really interesting too is the interconference transfers, and that's going to upset a lot of coaches, because these coaches they spend a lot of time recruiting these guys, especially if you're going to British Columbia to to recruit kids, and then you lose them after 1 year. That's got to be very difficult. Or you're going overseas to get a kid from Finland and he transfers after 1 year. That stinks. So we'll see. Hopefully there's more rules coming too, but who knows with the NCAA, they change their mind all the time.
Yeah, and speaking of players transferring in conference, quick tangent that I'll grant you, because I don't think that you really cared that much about who was passed on as much as who the Wild drafted. Or wait, no. Well, that's right. You are the guy that I think like 3 times a day tweets about Gabe Perreault. No, but Charlie Stramel going from Wisconsin to Michigan State, obviously a welcome change, both for Charlie and for the Wild Brass. What do you need to see from him this year to maybe be like, okay, maybe this wasn't a catastrophe?
Yeah, well, the hope for the Wild and Wild fans too, and just the organization, is hopefully he takes off like Isaac Howard did. Isaac played for Nightingale with the national development program, and so they're hopefully that's the same thing where he's back with his junior coach, and just getting back to the player he was when he was younger. But I just don't think some players clash well with Mike Hastings, and it's understandable.
The ones that are like under 25.
Right. Yeah. So and he's going in.
Hang on, Alex. Is it fun to make those jokes now?
Yes. Now that you're and he's now doing it at Wisconsin too, which is
he wasted no time. I knew eventually he'd get back on his bullshit. I did
Yes.
not think after 1 year he'd be like, yeah, I actually want to get rid of anybody that was brought in that was like came in as a true freshman or like a 1 year of junior. Come on in. Like he's getting rid of them all. He's bringing in 24 and 25-year-olds again. Like he can't help himself.
No,
He
no,
can't.
and yeah, from RIT too. Yeah, so it's they are old as can be. Yeah, he just can't help himself. So yeah, it's good to be on the other side of things. And Strand is, it looks like he's the complete opposite as far as what they're recruiting now. So yeah, it's it's a complete 360.
And I mean, if you think about it too, you got the 2 Chan kids coming in.
Mhm.
You can probably get the 3rd one after year 1 when Hastings kicks him to the curb too.
Yeah, I'm sure they're asking.
Young.
Yeah, keep the entire line going from high school. That would be pretty cool. We'll see what happens there for sure, because he's going to want to continue to have his own guys, because the 3rd was a Granado kid as well. So
Well, speaking of keeping a line going, are you worried at all for your boy Gabe with Mr. Will Smith departing for greener pastures? Well, I don't know about that. Greener maybe with currency, but that's about it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, now that that's the first domino. Well, and then Washington wants Leonard big time. Get him with Ovechkin. That would be really fun to watch, and especially with who knows with Oshie, if he's gonna continue on with his. Anytime you hear back, it's never good. So I'm sure the pressure's on to get him in the organization, and at least giving him that 9 games. So if he goes, then does Pearl want to stick around?
I don't think he should be going to the Rangers yet.
No.
Him a lick of
No, and Hartford's probably.
So you're just saying he'll transfer. Gotcha.
Yeah, or that too. But I mean, they're going to be loaded again either way. So if he stays, why not try to at least attempt to win a national championship?
For sure.
Yeah.
And to that note, what do you expect coming into this year for the Gophers? Like, again, we've kind of shifted back to the ways of old where the Gophers are a couple tiers ahead of the rest. And that's not to say that they can't compete for a weekend, but when you look at the whole season, the Gophers are probably the only ones that are making a push for a Frozen Four this year. Do you think they've got the horses with a couple of the guys that stayed, bringing in Matthew Wood, or are you still a little suspect on whether or not they can get over the hump?
No, it looks like they're ready to go. I mean, you could tell this past season, once Logan Cooley just kind of bounced, they didn't really have. It was too late, other than Beckett Hendrickson asking him to come in early, but he didn't want to do that.
Jimmy played well.
Yeah.
Jimmy Clark was, don't get me wrong, he's not replacing Logan Cooley ever, even with a couple more years under his belt. Like, no, but he played pretty admirably for being called up last second to fill a hole because Cooley dipped out late.
Yeah, he had his moments. He can skate. Now that's huge, especially when you're, playing on that sheet. It's a hybrid, but it's still he looked like. And he wasn't out of place. So yeah, that's a good point. But having a Matthew Wood, that's your Logan Cooley replacement. You wish he could have had him. This past season, he's the prototypical power forward that they needed, and you put him with Jimmy and Oliver Moore. That looks like a dynamite line if that's the way they want to go. And a guy that I'm really excited for another year of is Ryan Chesley. I just think that he has so much potential, and I think his role is going to grow, especially offensively too. I think there's a lot more there out of him.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys I'm interested to see the next step from, but this is not the Gophers recap. Right. But I gotta say then, let's remove them from the equation because they are the ones that kind of stand out and separate themselves. Mm-hmm. In the next, call it 3 years, go further if you feel like you need to, but of the remaining Minnesota teams, who do you think has the best chance of being the first non-Gopher team to represent Minnesota in a Frozen Four?
I gotta say the Bulldogs. I just love what Scott Sandlin does.
I like that. Okay.
I mean, the recruiting class that he has coming in is absolutely incredible. they had a really down year, just with it, injuries and then academic stuff. And so I think they're going to have a bounce back year. I think they're going to make the tournament, this year. And, they have a drafted goalie. That's huge. Plant coming in. So it just, I really like Shagabay's coming in, that we've wanted to see since he was playing at Warroad. So yeah, I'm excited to see. And, Sandlin, when they get in the tournament, they look out for them. That they know he knows how to get it done with his squad. So
Duluth is a 3 seed is a scary thing.
right, you do not want to see no.
Like honestly, I'm more afraid of them as a 3 seed than if they're a 1 or a 2. Like there's some weird psychology there where Sandlin just like digs in and he is so happy. But that's good to hear because they've kind of been the punching bag for a lot of the other recaps we've been doing. So
I believe in him. I like what, like I said, the recruiting classes that he has coming, they're going to be a team, to be very afraid of, especially when you have a drafted goalie too. That's huge. I mean, he is going to be a Blackhawk, which we don't enjoy, but he was incredible in World Juniors. Gajan, the Slovakian kid. So yeah, just watch out. And Sam Plant, I really enjoyed watching him in high school, and Veach, I'm sure, is just cannot wait to watch him too. So
he's a Penguin, baby.
Yeah, Penguin. So you're all about that. So it will be interesting to see.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Now we gotta talk about the fun topic.
Yep.
We have a team from the CCHA moving to the NCHC. The way everyone has predicted for the last decade. We've got St. Thomas joining the fold in a couple of seasons. Thoughts?
Yeah, Rico's back in the NCHC. Well, playing teams that when he was at Miami, so that's going to be interesting for sure. With the new arena, that's going to help. But it's a big step up in competition, so we'll see if they can handle it. The recruiting's going to have to get even better than it is right now. But I really enjoy Rico, and Leon's a great recruiter. So and Leyland too. So it was shocking though. It seems like none of the other coaches knew. Not even Don didn't know for sure, so that it was they kind of pulled a rug out of from underneath everybody. So that was very
Now this is just your perspective, Alex, not Twitter, not the rest of Mankato, not the rest of Horns Up Nation. Are you bitter?
Oh yeah, big time, because they tried it when Hastings was a coach, and look at the record. They have the third most wins in the past 3 or 4 seasons, and so they showed that they're a team on a rise. And it's unfortunate. I think at the time when the bid got shut down, I think they probably wanted 2 teams at the time, and they said no to Arizona State too, which was weird. At that time, so it's frustrating. I'm sure Bemidji's frustrated too, because you see a team like Miami that continues to struggle in the NCHC, and talk about laughing stock. It shouldn't be UMD. It should be Miami. You go in and play Miami. You think you're going to walk out of there with 2 wins every weekend. So it just doesn't seem like the administration cares about hockey as much as they should if they're in a premier conference. But we'll see if the coaching change makes a difference. But that's frustrating for the Mavericks. And you look at what they have to do in non-conference now. They have to schedule some of the toughest teams. The Mavs play Michigan right away, so that is one of the hardest opening weekends for sure. And so, but they have to do it because the conference. You saw it this year. There was no one close to the top 16 in the pairwise. The highest it ever got was in the mid 20s, and that's not going to cut it. It seems to be turning into a one bid league, which is really unfortunate. And then you get to the conference tournament, and it's up for up in the air.
let's say hypothetically Miami does dip, and whether it's fair or not, anything Mankato's done previously is basically not factored in because we have a new coaching regime. It's a different landscape. Is Mankato the most deserving team, or who do you think objectively should be filling that hole if a vacancy is left there by Miami?
Yeah, that is really tough. I'm sure Michigan Tech has a really good, they have a good argument too. I don't know with Bemidji, I think they factor into attendance a lot, and it doesn't seem like with they're having really troubles getting full barns in Bemidji for whatever reason. They did for the playoffs, but for the regular season, it seems like they have a really tough time. So, I would say the Mavs or Michigan Tech right now. Michigan Tech seems to make it to the NCAA tournaments, and even though it's probably a harder school to get into and recruit, because it's heavy engineering school, and so I'm sure the admissions is tougher than a lot of the other teams. So credit to them. They continue to get it done. Hopefully we don't see any more Michigan Tech ads at the Minnesota State tournament, high school tournament. Yeah, that is so annoying. But
hey, good. Someone should outbid them.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Good on them. But it's working. So I would say the Mavs or Michigan Tech.
Okay, interesting. Ooh, poor Bemidji.
I don't know. It seems like they factor in that.
No, the attendance is a problem, objectively, which is a bummer too, because it maybe not the biggest barn, but I think Bemidji's got a pretty cool rink set up. It's just I don't know what the gap is for getting people to show up, but
it's frustrating, and people were really mad too that TV's not on up there. I don't know why it's such a big deal, and I think people still have a problem with with streaming too. So now we'll see with the change from Flow to Midco. Hopefully that gets more viewership for the league, and hopefully it draws more people to the arenas to but just more interest too. I just think with Flow hockey there was just so many the cameras weren't great and just connection wise. So hopefully a new partner draws in more people and then gets them excited and maybe gets them to go to the arena too after seeing the product on their screens.
Yeah. So talk to me about transition from this past season to next year. We've got the first year under our belt. There's going to be some new faces, some out, some in. What do you need to see in year two, whether that be from the players, whether that be from adjustments and growth from Strand? Like, what are your expectations?
Yeah, the offense really needs to improve. It was really, really inconsistent, and the power play at times was great, but it struggled a lot too. You do see guys like Caden Bolson, who came from Omaha, didn't really play a whole lot, and he looked great. At times he had an overtime winner against St. Thomas. So they continue to find like diamond in the rough guys, transferring in, and you just want to see that continued growth. You look at a guy like Adam Isley, he has all that potential in the world. You hopefully can get him to, double digits would be nice in the goal category. A guy like Brett Moravec, it's always funny. He's always going to be connected because he was originally a Wisconsin commit and they flipped him. So it was a reverse. That kid has so much potential. He was, a Penticton kid in the BC league. He scored a ton. And so they actually have a transfer from Notre Dame, Finn Williams, who played with Moravec and Isley and Penticton, got hurt and transferred out of Notre Dame, and so they're hoping that with him fully healthy, that he can get back to what he was in junior. He's a Vancouver kid, so I'm sure Isha's gonna. I'll keep telling Isha that, hey, this guy's from Vancouver.
That's
But
really all it takes.
exactly. But it seems like Strand does a good job of finding kids like that have a ton of skill, but either just didn't continue to show it where they were at their first school, or just ran into injuries. So I'm looking at that, and then goaltending. It has to be so much better. Strand won a Clark Cup with Alex Tracy in Sioux City, so hopefully he can continue to get more consistency there. This kid from the kid coming in, Eli Pulver, he was great in junior for Salmon Arm. He was top 5 in save percentage in that in that league. So we'll see. As with freshman goalies, you never know. They're not all Dryden McKay. So, but yeah, we'll see. Just more continued growth there in the goaltending spot.
Okay. Any key either departures or key ads that you want to hone in on?
Yeah, I'm super excited for another Italian. We got Luigi Benicasa coming in from.
What a name.
Yes, so he's gonna fit in well with Luciano Wilson, or Luke Wilson as for short. But he was on the CCHA all rookie team, and he looks like a really talented scorer guy that can be on the top power play. He had an injury at the end of the year for Ferris, but I'm sure when they play Ferris this year, it'll be interesting. But that's a kid I'm really looking forward to watching. And then they have a defensive recruit coming in named Luke Ashton, who looks like a monster. He's 6'6", about 240. And he looks like he might be drafted probably 5th or 6th round. We're hoping. So that would be nice to have a draft pick again. They have a BC. Well, he played at BC originally and then went to Arizona State. Cade Alami, who's 6'7", so they have a 6'6" and a 6'7" guy. So that would be interesting if they pair those giants together. So yeah, I'm looking forward to those guys. There's a kid from Prior Lake named Sam Rice who played with Alex Bump at in high school. That was one of Strand's first recruits. So
is that your way of saying that we should ignore all of his stats, or
no? No, he had a good year with Madison. Madison, they struggled in the USHL, but that's going to happen. But I'm hoping that he gets back to how he was scoring in high school. Again, one of those where you get him with the college coach, and we'll see what happens. But he has the talent there, so yeah, I'm excited for him as well. And we still don't know. There's a couple more open roster spots, so we'll see. But yeah, losing Keenan Rancier, so that's a goalie's spot. Again, he was just really inconsistent, and he just never seemed like a Strand guy. So good for him to to get a spot at Vermont. It seems like with the goalies, going into the portal, that's a really risk for them, because there's as we know, there's only one net. So good for him for finding a spot. So yeah, that's about it for sure. Not I mean, the guys he lost, not well. Sam Morton, that's a killer, but he wasn't coming back. He's a grad student, so they're gonna have to replace that offense. But like I said, with Luigi coming in, hopefully he can fill in that scoring gap.
not to pluck a nerve, but and you can, I guess, view this a couple different ways, because maybe there's guys that you think are more or less loyal. Maybe there's guys that you think are going to pop off this year. But who is the most likely player for us to be talking about next summer as being a departee via the transfer portal?
Yeah, I really thought Evan Murr was going to go. I'm shocked that he stayed, just because I knew early that Pole Camp was gone, and so I was like, "Here we go." But he's not a draft pick, so I'm sure San Jose influenced that a lot, getting him out of
I'm sure.
Bemidji. But yeah, it was really cool to see Murr stay, because he was, a Todd Connaught recruit. Uh, you never know, because he circles back. So it would not shock me to see him at Wisconsin. That's a guy that you'll always have to be worried about. And
Okay.
yeah, so that's the only one I really would be concerned about, other than maybe this Ashton kid. If he does get drafted, and he has a good freshman year, that could, you could see the bigger conferences seeing a kid like that, that can skate and shoot the puck. So yeah, we'll see.
Fair.
Mhm.
Now, which Mankato alum do you think? I won't even label you to who's the best post college, but who's your favorite Mankato alum?
Yeah, I mean, this is an easy one. David Backus. It, it was so fun to watch his career. He was a warrior with St. Louis. Those battles against Chicago were were epic. I thought it was unfortunate how it ended. Going to Boston, and it would have been cool to see him win a cup there when when they were playing St. Louis. But yeah, it ended kind of awful there with Anaheim too. But he's such a good guy off the ice too. Everything he does with dogs, and it was fun to see him in the Olympic teams too.
Oh, dude, that's my highlight for him, is leading into that like infamous Winter Olympics where, it's the one time I've not been happy with Sidney Crosby. But dude, going in, he had 3 games in a row, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it was a 4-game stretch where it happened over 3 games, but he picked out the tough guy on the opposing team who was a representative of Team Canada, and he beat the wheels off him consecutively. I'm pretty sure it was Corey Perry, who he's the only one that really stood a chance. Gosh, was it Rick Nash, I believe? And then Jonathan Taves, who just
the Taves ones are epic. Yeah.
I mean, Taves shouldn't be fighting anybody.
No, not at all. I would say, and another guy too, since I went to school, I was in school at the same time, Teddy Bluger, that, he's your guy.
That was the correct answer.
Yeah,
Teddy
I know.
the correct answer.
Yeah, that's who I should have, it's cool to see a guy, whereas, at school at the same time as you. Tyler Pitlick was too, but he took off right. We came in the same year, 09, but he school was not his thing. But yeah, it was really cool seeing Teddy. It was amazing that at the time that they got him to to go there. I don't know if you remember this kid too, but JP LaFontaine. They were both Shattuck kids, and so they were able to get both those guys. They kind of helped start that. Getting better recruits there. Rye Hayes is of the world. Rye ended up, making it into the NHL for a little bit. So, Matt Leitner, that was kind of the the turnaround of things, and the Mike Hastings, era. But yeah, Teddy. Seeing Teddy get raise the Stanley Cup was really cool, even if it was with Vegas. Good for the school to joining Ryan Carter as an alum to win a Stanley Cup, which is really cool.
Well, and there you go. There was the answer to my next question.
Yes.
I was going to ask you which alum has the best hair.
Yeah, that Ryan Carter, and it's just it's really cool to see him get on TV too. He's got a great personality, and it's awesome to see him. He has his podcast too, and so yeah, it was fun to see him join the Wild. Albeit at the end of the road there for him, but he's made a smooth transition just like Darby did. So yeah, it's fun to see him. Who knows with with Bally's probably being done, what's going to happen there. So I hope he continues to get a chance wherever they end up in the fall for the Wild television.
The Wild would be idiots to not have him be in on it, but
Right.
hey, we've seen the Wild do dumb things in the past, so who am I to say that they won't?
Yep, exactly.
No, that's fair. So we'll wrap then, Alex, on just next year. What is the outlook? How do they stack up? Where do they finish in the CCHA? And are they going to be able to make a push for a tournament bid?
Yeah, everything is up in the air now. Like Bemidji lost a ton. Losing Polkamp too. You can't replace a guy like that. No matter what they tried to do, that hurts. Tech's going to be right up there again. I think it'll be a 3-horse race between the Mavs, Michigan Tech and St. Thomas. But who knows? St. Thomas might be booted from the league too. I don't. Who knows? Early.
Man, wouldn't that be great if St. Thomas got booted from 2 leagues within like a 5-year stretch?
Because I'm sure if you ask the coaches, I'm sure they are pissed because none of them knew about this, and they had that convention, and you think they would have brought it up, but
I mean, how do you bring it up when it's not finalized? Like,
true.
Like, let's be clear. I'm on both sides here. Like, if I'm the coaches, I'm fucking pissed.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm St. Thomas, I don't handle it any differently. Like, you're telling me you get a chance to jump into the NCHC like a couple years into your existence as a Division I program. You're not going to turn that away. You're not going to say something too early to fuck it up. Like, they handled it in no wrong accord, but again, the coaches still have every right to be like real peeved off about it.
The most hilarious thing about this whole thing is they didn't in the bylines have anything about a buyout for them, so they played it perfectly. It's like, how was this not figured out when they started the conference? That's unbelievable. And Don Lucio's like, it wasn't my issue, which I thought was hilarious.
Of course, nothing's Don's fault. How could it be?
Yes. So that made me at least chuckle. They did play it perfectly on their part.
That's gonna be interesting. Okay, so that's the CCHA. So I'm not letting you off the hook. Like, who's winning it? Who's winning the CCHA?
I'll give it to Tech.
Okay.
They seem to just Joe gets a lot of crap as a coach there, but when push comes to shove, he does get his teams there. Even if they don't win the league, they seem to do well in the conference tournaments. Now they're gonna have to replace an All-American goalie, but I think I still think they have the pieces there to get it done. I think depending we don't know the full roster yet for the Mavs, so it's tough for me to pick them as is. But I really like this Michigan Tech team. They I watched them play the Mavs in the semis there, and they played phenomenal. And then they took down Bemidji, which was in Bemidji. That was impressive. And I like what they have returning and what they have coming in too. So yeah, I'll give it to Michigan Tech.
Okay. And so can Mankato, let's say that's what happens. Can Mankato do enough in the regular season to still make a postseason appearance?
I think so. I mean, you look at the non-conference, it is gauntlet, but if they can pull off some big wins, it's huge, especially, getting Michigan at least early helps because, at the end of the year they're going to be ready to go for the NCAA tournament. So, you try to at least split there. You play an Omaha. The Battle of the Mavericks. Taking down an NCHC team always helps. You saw they swept St. Cloud this past season. So trying to do that. You got a Merrimack team that looks like they're going to be pretty good. It's at Merrimack, so road wins are always look good for pairwise. So yeah, if you can do damage in the non-conference, get off to a good start. That always helps for sure. And then it's weird, because St. Thomas obviously is not eligible for the NCAA again, which is crazy.
What happens if they win the CCHA? Does no one get an auto bid, or does it go to second place?
Yeah, it goes to second. Goes to second place.
You just gotta hope that St. Thomas and Tech end up on the same side of the bracket.
Right.
St. Thomas beats them, and you guys squirt through, and it's like, all right, we're in.
Yeah, it's chaos, and I think that's what they're worried about. That's why they probably want to kick them out early too, so they don't have to worry about that. But again, they don't have to worry about a buyout either, because it's not it's not written in, so they can just let them walk and be an independent. It's not like them being in a conference affects them in the NCAA. So it's that's where it's a mess. But I could see them voting on that and just saying, you did this to us. You're out early. And
St.
that would
Thomas
be
being voted out again.
glorious.
Incredible.
And not because they're better, too good. It's just that
this time it's like at least reasonable that they would want to do it. The first time, I'm sorry, the MIAC is full of just soft puppy shit.
Yeah. It's like, all right, recruit better,
Oh no. Did St. Olaf get beat really bad in football? Are they gonna go pout?
Right. Just play better.
It worked out for St. Thomas.
Oh,
splendidly. So like,
100%.
they're not mad. This is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you, MIAC. It got got them.
Here's the real question. I don't know where you're at on this. I don't have an opinion. This is all conjecture that I keep hearing from others. Are we worried that St. Cloud State's going to continue to exist?
I'm really worried. It's
not as a hockey team. Their program is great.
Yeah.
As an institution,
you can't just continue to cut programs academically. It's sad they continue. It seems like they cut in half, or quarter, every school year. It's really sad to see. I think they have a really great broadcasting program there too. We've seen how many people have jobs, going to school there because of that. So that would be sad to see. It's a school that's that has a ton of alums, obviously, in our state. So that'd be really sad to see. And that's why you see the rumors of Brett Larson maybe trying to get out of there too, just because he sees it coming. I know he was he interviewed for the Wisconsin jobs. So
I mean, I don't blame anyone for that though. Interviewing is, I mean, granted, it could very well be that he had genuine interest, but if you get asked to interview for something like that, you're dumb if you say no.
No, exactly. It's I don't fault. I think Mavs folks are more upset at Todd Connaught than Hastings because they handed him the program and he still turned it down, which is
okay, because he's literally making the same, if not more, to go be the assistant and keep doing his same shit.
Yeah, I know, but you think
sorry.
I know, but you would think at some point you'd think you'd want to be a head coach, but maybe he thinks he's gonna.
That might not be your thing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a completely different role, man. Like as the assistant, like he is the guy that's hitting the road. He's doing the recruiting. He has a very specific role on the team. Like you hear it in the NHL all the time. Like to promote an assistant to be the head coach, like it almost doesn't work because you go from being like good cop to now trying to be bad cop. And that's not directly comparable, I guess, in this scenario, because you're going to work through recruiting classes. It's not a set team, but like he might just be wired to be an assistant coach. And
yeah. And maybe he's playing the long game with Hastings too. But yeah, who knows? Like when a job like that would open again, obviously they they span a wide lens for finding another coach. I also thought it was hilarious that David Carl's like, no, I didn't interview with the Devils. I didn't talk to the Devils. It wasn't the Devils, and there was a report that he did talk to them, but yeah, it was that was interesting too. But he's right too, where it's like these coaches get fired right away. So yeah. So stay at Denver, be a powerhouse, and be a legend, be a Jerry York. Yeah. So
I can think of shittier places to live for sure. But
Oh.
my take is if St. Cloud State, like as an institution, does fold, there's a team right down the road that could use their facilities, could make the jump yet again from the MIAC to Division I hockey, could have an awesome rivalry with St. Thomas. I don't know. I'm just saying St. John's is right there.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see if they if they would have the money to do that. But you have the alum. They have a good
It's
alum
a private
base.
school. They gotta have money.
Cool. And lots of alums. I'm sure Anthony LaPanta would just absolutely love that. Being a Johnny. So yeah, they could use the same arena. So yeah, that would be really cool. And don't count out.
I don't want St. Cloud to fold. I'm
Right.
not asking for that. I'm saying
No.
if it were to transpire.
No, it's crazy. They I don't know what's going to happen. They they had an interim president and he left early. So then they have another one coming in. So, but you can't keep cutting academic programs. All the hockey players are just going to be made, or I don't know what's left there. But yeah, it's sad because they, that arena is always packed too, and it's the same thing like Mankato. It's one of the only things to do on a Friday, Saturday night, and people love going downtown after a win. So that would be sad to see, and I don't know why St. Cloud is struggling when Mankato is doing well. A lot of times it's marketing the school better. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's too bad. After the pandemic, people were at home, and so yeah, it's too bad. But hopefully they can keep going, because look at all the famous alums that have come out of that program and been in the NHL. We love Mark Parrish, so it's 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 gonna get real dicey. And if they do fold, you're gonna see I'm sure Augustana look at us, we have the new arena, and St. Thomas, they new arena, why can't we be in the NCHC? And I'm sure the Mavs would try to do another bid, and if they were to get shut down, I think the 507 would be Pitchfork Nation would be going to NCHC headquarters and demand why aren't the Mavericks in. So it's gonna be an interesting next couple of years for sure.
There you have it. I think we covered it all.
We did. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was wide ranging, and it's I can't believe it's already June here. It'll be October before we know it, and another season begins, and to St. Louis for the Frozen Four in that arena. So we'll see.
Jimmy Snuggerud playing at home, baby.
And wouldn't that be if St. Louis would be able to make the playoffs if he could go right in like Cale Makar did with Colorado?
Got some work to do before they're making playoffs.
yes, new coach.
Maybe. I mean, we saw the Flyers almost make the playoffs, so you never know.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I'm glad we got we get to see another year of Jimmy Snuggerud in college hockey because he is electric, and it's one of those guys that you turn the TV on to watch for sure.
The people need it.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks for jumping on again, Alex. I know there will be little things where we pop up and do stuff throughout the summer, but enjoy the time. I know I'm trying to, along with other responsibilities, but there you have it. Mankato. You heard it from Micheletti. They are going to de facto get into the postseason because they lose to St. Thomas in the CCHA championship. And he's not at all bitter about not going to the NCHC. That's the best recap I can give. But one left here, everybody. One remaining season recap for MNCAA coming up hopefully this following week with your Minnesota Golden Gophers.